Well, the simple way I like to think about it is that what everyone wants to do today is become an untouchable. Yeah, when the world is flat, the whole job market basically gets turned upside down. You know, in India, untouchables are the outcasts. You know, when the world is flat, everyone wants to be an untouchable. To me, the definition of untouchable is someone whose job cannot be outsourced, automated, or digitized. So that's really, these young people want what I want for my girls. We all want to become untouchables. Well, how do you do that? What are the untouchable jobs? Well, first of all, there are sort of two categories that I think in a flat world will remain and always be untouchable. The first are people who are really special or really specialized. Michael Jordan, J.K. Rowling, do not have to worry, okay? They're really special. There is a global market for their goods and services. Brain surgeon, heart surgeon, no problem. Really special, really specialized. They're going to be untouchables. At the other end, there are people who are really localized and anchored. They also don't have to worry. That's your barber, your baker, your candlestick maker, and your divorce lawyer. No problem. They're always going to be there too. They will be untouchables. You can't outsource them. But between those people who are really localized and anchored and special and specialized, there's a whole vast universe now of jobs. We know what the old middle class jobs were for those people. But what I try to think about as I work more and more on The World is Flat is what I call the new middle. What are the new middle jobs where you can hopefully, at least for a while, make yourself an untouchable? And I came up with eight just sort of broad headlines of what I consider new middle careers. The first are what I call great collaborators and orchestrators. Obviously, in this kind of world, the ability to orchestrate and collaborate horizontal innovation, education, or inspiration, there's going to be a whole slew of careers around that. And young people know that. I know because when I was working on the book, I went back to Infosys in India. And when I was there, the CEO said to me, "Would you like to meet our summer interns?" And I said, "I'd love to meet your summer interns. I love being around these young Indian dynamic kids." No. Our American summer interns. I said, "You have American summer interns at Infosys in Bangalore?" He said, "Yeah, we had 9,000 applications last year." This was 5 years ago. And these were all young people, mostly business school students, who understood that their first job out of business school might just be deputy supply chain manager at Target. And if they could show on their resume that they had experience collaborating and synthesizing across cultures, time zones, boundaries, and corporations, they would have a leg up coming out of business school. Second category, I call it simply great synthesizers, great mashers. Okay, let's go back to Steve Jobs. What was the iPod? The iPod is just a huge mashup of three things that already existed. He mashed together the MP3 player, basically with Napster, basically with an online music store, branded the whole thing, and launched a whole new revolution. So people who can think and synthesize and mash things up, this is going to be a huge, huge career. Think about it, Mom, Dad, your kids may come home from school one day, from college, hope that they will. And they'll say, "Mom, Dad, I decided what I want to be when I grow up." Wonderful, sweetheart. What's that? "I want to be a search engine optimizer." Search engine? You couldn't be an ophthalmologist or a lawyer, accountant? I sent you to college to be a search engine optimizer? What in the world is that? Well, once we got search, as you all know, if I put in tennis shoes into search, and the first thing that comes up on Google is Target's shoe department, do you know the advantages for Target of that? So that created a whole new industry. Search engine optimizing. A whole multi-billion-dollar industry of people who come to Target and say, we know how to get you from the back of page 3 up to number 1 on Google. That's the good news. Whole new industry. Here's the bad news. You have to know math and marketing. It's a complete mashup industry. You go to search engine optimizing firms and Google, just down the road, they have an annual ball for all the search engine optimizers trying to figure out their search algorithm. Search engine optimizing firms bring together people out of Madison Avenue, marketing, and mathematicians, and they mash them up. Let me just tell you a little aside. General Stanley McChrystal of Afghan fame and Rolling Stone, he's a good friend of mine. And do you know how we broke the insurgency in Iraq? Here's how they did it. The short version. They would go, in the old days, you know, they'd say, some bad guys in that house, you know, near Baghdad. And they'd go into the house and they'd kill or capture the bad guys, and they'd leave. And here's what he introduced. He said, no, we're not leaving. Now they go into the house, kill or capture the bad guys, and then they put that yellow police tape around it like it's a crime scene, and then they dust the whole place. They take the cell phone, download the hard drive, check for fingerprints, every scrap of paper. Then they took them back to Special Ops headquarters in Balad, and they stuffed it all into a giant supercomputer being run with by a bunch of geeks from Silicon Valley with ponytails and rings in their nose. So you have these hardcore Special Ops guys, and basically these long-haired supercomputer freaky geeks. And these guys were loading all this stuff into a computer, and the computer, through algorithms, was matching a phone number found there with an address found there and a fingerprint found there, and thus was the insurgency in Iraq broken. It's all about being able to synthesize now and do these mashups. Great synthesizers, huge career. Third, I think new middle job, thank God, I hope, great explainers. Okay? In a world of this complexity, if you are an architect now, and you not only can draw that building, but you can model it for people, you can explain it to people at a whole new level, wow, you are going to have a huge advantage over the one who can't. I learned about this from a ski instructor in Aspen. One day we're out skiing with this guy, and his name's TFriedman. What do you do? He said, well, I own the big photo store in downtown Aspen. I only do this as an aside. And he starts telling me about his business. And this is going to resonate with all of you. He said, once people got digital cameras, there wasn't the same developing business. But meanwhile, everyone's coming into the store and asking me, how does my camera work? And so I found, he said, I was spending more time explaining people how their cameras worked than I was in developing their pictures. So I just turned my business upside down. I installed a whole bank of computers and created a course on digital photography.